So when I was a kid, space was something that was exciting. Space was something that NASA used to push, promote, get out in the schools, show us astronauts. And then, of course, they took a school teacher and launched her into space and kind of blew it up. It wasn't ideal. Space got boring for a while, but then it got exciting again. And I'm here to tell you, it is exciting once again. So we came down all the way to Boca Chica. We were already in Texas, but it was exciting. And we had a chance to come down all the way to SpaceX, to the Starbase facility. As you can see, Starbase right here. We've got the upcoming launch of the booster, of the full stack, of Starship. It's going to be amazing. If it works, it is going to be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And if it doesn't work, it's going to be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. You've got guaranteed excitement either way. So we've got Falcon rockets. They're reusable, they're landable. We've got all that stuff. And what we've really got is the hope of space once again. The dream. Because when I was a kid, the whole idea was that you could go to space. And what they meant is, we want everyone to believe that they could be an astronaut, even though you can't be an astronaut. My vision wasn't good enough, couldn't do it. They've changed the rules. I could now do it based on that, but not based on it anyway. Because what you needed to go to space when I was a kid was billions of dollars to either create a Gemini or an Apollo or a shuttle kind of mission. It wasn't something you could just do. Now in the 90s, we started seeing those space tourists who would go to the space station and go up into space generally with the Russians. They'd pay $20 million a seat. And that was a good deal because it cost more than that, but they had to keep their space program running. And this was a great subsidy for a otherwise bankrupt government. So what they would do is pay, and pretty soon NASA was like, come on, we got to stop with the space tourism. This is ridiculous. They put rules on it, very strict rules that would involve training and approvals and all that. And that brought it under control a bit. People still were able to pay their way onto missions, just much less commonly. If you want to go to space, you can. It's not insanely... It's comparable to the cost of a house, depending how short of a mission you want to do. But it can be done. Maybe by your talent, of course. But maybe someday by your money. Maybe someday soon you'd have the chance to actually pay your way to space. Space tourism, that was definitely a thing that was talked about in the 80s. But then we got here. And it's a thing again. Rich people aren't as... revered as they were in the 80s perhaps, but that's a whole different discussion. So what is the stuff that dreams are actually made of? There are two things in this life that can make me cry. My kids, different kind of cry. Crying tears of joy, it's two things and two things alone. Baseball and rocketry. I know, it's crazy. When I'm feeling down, when I'm having a bad day, I go back and I rewatch the Falcon Heavy test launch because it inspires me. It was an inspiring day. The music helped, the production value helped, but it was the production of all the people who build these insane machines, these impossible machines. Like I say on a t-shirt that I no longer sell, everything's impossible until it isn't. You can't land rockets. Well, I mean, you can, but you can't do it in a way that's profitable. Well, I guess you can, but no one else in the world. You can do it. You can't fly a water tower. You can fly a water tower. Apparently, there's one over there. Starhopper, it flew. It went to the edge of cloud and came back. Not space, just cloud. That's still impressive. There's a lot of things that are possible. You're going to take a 250-foot tall chunk of steel all the way up into the high atmosphere, belly flop it down, kick out the butt, land it on its feet that are only this big. Yeah, it's impossible, and we're going to do it. This is ushering in an era of the cheapest space flight and all that. SpaceX is already changing everything. Starlink is already changing everything. And Starship, coming up in just a couple short weeks, is changing everything. And space missions have gotten cheaper. It used to be if you wanted to launch a satellite, you had to plan on spending $1 billion. Okay, maybe half a billion if you want something limited in scope, limited in capacity, and not very heavy. SpaceX is launching 60 originally, and now still about 50 satellites per mission. And they're putting them up, they're making them in a factory, mass producing them. We figure already the cost is under $100,000 a satellite. plus the launch, about 20 million in fuel. So, I mean, it's gotten quite affordable on a per satellite basis. If you want to launch a satellite, you can launch a satellite. If you want to go to space, you can go to space. And these things aren't getting more expensive, they're getting less expensive. The dream is not waning, it's waxing. Because of Tesla, because of SpaceX, because of Neuralink, because of Boring Company, because of all these Elon Musk related things, I'm starting to see that the future is now. That we actually live in the future from when I was a kid. The self-driving cars, the actual daily, weekly kind of rocket launches, the excitement around technology, were it not for him, I don't think I'd be covering tech at all. Because there is no, if you took the next 5 companies combined and combined them, I don't think you would find a tenth of the enthusiasm that you find for these companies. And I do have inside scoops about when it's actually going to launch, but all of them are wrong all the time. We heard March 11th, we heard March 22nd and 23rd. I'm sure those are all wrong. But I'm here for it, baby. And when I say here, I mean I've already gone back home by the time you see this. I'm back home for this, and I will join you on screen for it. How about that? I guess we'll come back in the daytime, maybe share some more thoughts, maybe interview some folks, maybe talk about it. But what's crazy is, here we are in the middle of nowhere at a test facility that hasn't launched in over a year. And even at this hour, we've got nonstop traffic from people who wanted to come down just to see it. They're not in the area. No one's in the area. This isn't in the area of anything. But it's worth the trip. And when we cut to some other footage and you get to see, you've seen the footage before. You've seen how big the rockets are. They defy explanation. But when you're 6 miles away and you're looking at them and you can see them creeping up on the horizon, they're huge. They defy explanation. But we do our best to do it anyway. So interestingly, it's a little windy, hopefully not too windy. Okay. So we are at
I'll protect the gear. Yeah.
We are at SpaceX right here.
I'll go sit in the car for a while. I'll send him down so he can
at the rocket garden. Yeah. It's much bigger than it looks. I actually have to walk a ways just to get back far enough. Our cameraman got a trespass warning. Uh-oh. It's kind of funny. If he does it again, big trouble. Yeah, it's so much huger than you realize. It's hard to explain. It defies explanation. The scale is shocking, breathtaking. If you look at like workers next to just the nose cone is, it's taller than most buildings. And these, you just can't get you just can't get it. You can't get it. There's no way of understanding the scale. It's truly shocking. Yeah. If you get a chance to come out, you absolutely should, because there's no way access like this is going to stay forever. Once these are a national security item, you're going to be closed off like SpaceX is in Cape Canaveral. And it's not closed off. You can still get kind of close to it, but you can't get 20 feet from it. Most of this area is a wildlife refuge, like a state park, national park, federal park. I'll look it up, put it on the screen. But if this becomes a national concerted concern, it would be trivial for SpaceX or the government, more likely, to close it down and make it so you can't get this close. So if you get a chance, you absolutely should come out and check it out. If you could do it for a launch, it'd be even cooler, but for a launch, you couldn't get there's rumors of places within 3 miles. I don't think I'd want to be that close. You could be 5 to 7 miles. From people we've talked to today, that is a very, very loud way to do it. There's going to be a lot of window rattling even at 7 miles, because they've and that's in reference to the Starship test launches, which only had a handful of rockets. This one's going to be 33. Oh, it's going to be something. Interestingly, atop the high bay, there's windows. Probably got a better shot of that from my B-roll. Thanks to videographer Brian. It's just really hard to explain. It's impossible to explain. And I blame matte paintings. Matte paintings in movies are the ones where they paint something behind you that just goes actually on the camera. Looks grand and huge. Yeah, it's not a, understanding scale like that is not a skill that's been beneficial in our evolution. There's no real survival instinct to being able to tell something that's slightly bigger than you from something that's 1,000 times bigger. But this place, I mean, look at this. I am right in the thick of it. I am right here, and you can be too. Just got to join me, won't you? Join us on adventures. We have a bit of a fun time. So I think that's, if you don't get it, yeah. Space, man. If it doesn't make you excited, I don't know what does. Maybe you're dead inside. Tough to say. So that's my thought. I think we've got a lot of exciting things coming up. I bet no one made it this far in the video. I barely made it this far in the video. So that was it. That was my whole day and my night before at Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Thanks to my patrons for making this journey possible. I couldn't do it without you guys. YouTube pays very, very poorly. So what did I miss? Leave it all in them comments below. Your blinding brilliance, your juicy wisdom, all that good stuff. And whatever you do, I beg of you, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop or in space. I don't know, man. I don't know. No, I can't. It's so uneven. Yeah. I mean, no, because the beginning I'm fine with, but woohoo! Rock and roll!
Get some more in you?